play.
This your boy HD. Everybody get up on the dance floor and go and go and go crazy and go crazy and go crazy and go crazy. Go 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 crazy. Go 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 crazy. Go 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 crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go crazy like a dum-dum. East side homeboy, where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red rum. This is O City. All the way to the bay, hit the bass, feel me. Catch a case, cause it's beating up your Chevy. Get you moving side to side, getting all sweaty. Make it work it, work it, work it out. Turn the volume up loud. This a draw crowd, make it all shout. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and I'm ready. Like a quarterback, Tom Brady. Catch it all in the frenzy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA.
The love us. We heard the buzz and turned the club up. They tear the rugs up soon as we turn the subs up. Everybody hands high like a drug bust. Yeah, I'm from the West, homie. Don't you see the dubs up? Baptize him on the spot, fill the tubs up. I fraternize with the flocks, tell them fill the cups up. For show though, original, the type is proto. I go, crazy, crazy, yeah, loco. It's solo, the coach and notes I represent the Ocho. Immersing together to put the devil in the chokehold. Either I leave him on the mat flat out, I squeeze the telly black out, or when they see him tap out, they go crazy.
Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA.
Hey. I don't know. Something about that jam this evening hit a little different than usual. I don't know what it is. I had a little, and Lord knows I don't have the energy for any extra bop, but it gave me a little extra bop in my spirit today. What's going on, good people? What is going on? It is Tuesday, 8:04, and it is time for another Scoop Show. All right. We are glad that you have found yourself ready to sit down and chop it up with the cool folks on this evening, with the cool kids. All right. So whatever it is that you got going on this evening, go ahead and go on and bring it in. Okay. Go on and get that charger, get that cup filled up. Tell the babies it's time to lay it down. At the very least, be quiet. Because it is now you time. It is time for the scoop. And we want you to sit down and relax. Okay. So as you come on in here in this room, if you would get yourself acquainted with the people and hit us with your city and state in that good old comment section, if you would. That is how we one say what's up around these parts. That's how you know you come in repping your city, and it also lets us know just how far this show reaches from week to week. We're kind of analytical nerds that way, so we check. So it's also cool to get that information in real time. Lets us know where we touching when we out here talking to the people. So it's a way. That's how we say what's up around here at the Scoop. So go ahead while you're coming on in, drop your city and state in the comment section. And while you're in that there area, if you would also hit the share button for us and let your people know on your main line that it is time for the Scoop. We want to go ahead and invite them over to the conversation as well, because if they are cool with you, they can be cool with the scoop. Okay, we want your friends to become our friends, and then we're one big happy chatty family. Okay, so go ahead and hit that share button for us for the one time, and let the people know where you like to get your info. Okay, hit the share, city and state, and we're rolling. We know that you might not be able to chill with us the entire time tonight, because look, if you can't tell, we's tired. Okay, we get it. So if for whatever reason, I'm not even gonna hit you with a list on this Tuesday. If you can't stay, we understand, and we've got options for you to catch back up on the replay when your brain is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you're firing on all of your conversational cylinders. Okay, so to do that, we're about to flash this nice little graphic for you to see real quick. Go ahead and swipe left or right or whatever your device requires for you to get that good screenshot in your system. Oh, you had to swipe real fast if you wanted it that time. Go ahead and swipe for the one time so you can have this for after the show. You can be sure and tap in with us. We are out here in these social media streets. You can follow us on YouTube at The Scoop Show, on Facebook at Real Scoop Show, on Instagram at The Scoop Radio Show. And if you at the gym, you at work, you can't quite tune in and look us in the face, you can always log in on SoundCloud and get that good audio experience by searching at The Scoop Show. And you can get it in with us in your headphones. All right. So be sure and tap in with the good people on The Scoop on all the social media sites. Hit the bells and the whistles and all of the things so that you never miss a replay and you never miss a conversation, because that their conversation gets started on our pages. All right. So whenever you lock into either of our personal pages, that's Keela Willis or Winfred Burns II, or if you're locked into The Scoop on Facebook and Instagram and all those other places, you are getting access to our pre hot topics. And my P Valley voice, the grand re. These are the topic re the pre-show topics. So we will post the conversations that you all share with us via our inbox, via tags, and all of those wonderful things, all the algorithm helpers, to let us know what you are tapped into throughout the week. And if it is something that really gets us going on our pages, you will absolutely see those topics and conversations show up here on The Scoop for Hot Topics. So we invite you to get involved in the straight out of the inbox campaign. All right. So whenever you see this image right here or the hashtag straight out of the inbox, and my boy and I are tagged, that is your signal. All right. That is the chat signal. Y'all heard of the bat signal? That is the chat signal. Okay. When you see that image and those hashtags and the two of us tapped in, you do the same. All right. And drop your 2 pennies in the comment section. And if those numbers get to going and that conversation gets to flowing, you will be right here having this conversation with the world, Craig, on the show. All right. Straight out of the inbox. And last but not least, because, we listen to the people around here, the people talk, and, we listen and we go to work. You told us that you wanted more of us. You told us that you wanted different ways to be able to support the Scoop. So we came on through for y'all. All right. So we are now out here on Patreon. Patreon is helping us reach and dream big. And we are asking that you help us move that on down the line. All right. So the Scoop is on Patreon, and we are offering you 3 different ways to enjoy, access, and engage with us on Patreon. And we're also giving you an opportunity to help us reach our goals with 3 different options: half scoop, full scoop, and the double scoop, ranging from $5, $10 to $25. And for your good hard-earned coin, you not only get a chance to support us, but you get access to our Patreon only updates in the private chat community, Patreon only live stream access. You also get 20% off of branded merchandise, early access to event tickets, and Scoop Nation shout outs during our weekly shows, double scoop only events, and our upcoming Scoop of Sex and private interviews that are going to be oh so juicy and so exciting. So you want to be sure that you tap in with our half, full, or double scoop options and support the Scoop today on Patreon. Real Scoop Show is what you search on Patreon. I think that's it. We rolled right on through that, didn't we?
Yeah. You did the thing on that one.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. Tired, like just a day tired, but that's all good. That's why they even say that's why they pay us the big bucks, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Say something like that.
Something like that. I'm grateful for my blessings. I ain't gonna slander the blessings, but I don't know
I don't know if that counts as,
the
part of
bucks
the
is
pay.
balancing. Yeah, I don't know if it's the bucks is balancing. Sometimes I wonder. Today it ain't feeling equal. It ain't feeling it.
I
Ain't.
hear you. I hear you. No, it's been a good day, just busy. That's all. Like as usual. I would say this. I think you, myself, Kels, Dre, we have, and a couple others, we have walked through quite a few transitions together.
Yes.
And every time we do, it's like, first of all, we know it, like when it starts coming, it's like, oh, here it comes.
We have signals.
But it's like, and I'm grateful for that because it's always like, I don't want to go jarring, but it's like a transition for me. A lot of times feels like like shaking.
Yes, shaking is
No,
very good. Very good.
and and stuff is gonna fall off, but which is is ultimately a good thing, but it's still also it's still shaking, and you still have to get used to the different movement, all the things that come with being shook. So it's just very, it's always that moment of like, oh, ooh, what's gonna fall off in this transition, which
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, like, y'all think it's fun and cool and all that to see, but it's painful at times too, because something has to change.
Yes.
You have to
There's not
change.
enough room for everything.
Yeah.
You
So it's
gotta,
like, yeah. So it's just a transition I know for me, it's, yourself, it's huge transitions, good transitions, but still huge. And
Mhm.
you want to steward transitions well, but still tough. What's up, Mike? So yeah, so I mean, I'm good.
In
I'm
transit.
realizing the massive need in this transition. So yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
am
all
thankful
good.
we've been able to do it together. That has been the
Absolutely,
blessing. Yes.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm good. You ready to jump into these topics?
Let's go.
Y'all better put y'all comments in early. I mean, Q have already y'all know we already decided.
I was
We
wondering how long it was gonna take before we made the official announcement.
okay, y'all better go on and get these comments because I don't know how long we gonna be here tonight. Like, I know when I see that look the Q got right now, and this early in the show, and this look I got in my eyes, and this early in the show. Y'all better get
Baby,
these
this
comments.
been rebooting since about 3:15. So I'm like,
I better
my
give us
little
some
circle
energy
is
as
doing
well.
this. I'm
Say, I,
buffering right
listen,
now. That's
I usually get a nap on. I usually get a nap on Tuesdays. Not today. So yeah.
yeah.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and get in these comments. Some good topics tonight. So that should
Mhm.
definitely help. So,
What's up?
what's up, Gene? So our first topic. Yes. Okay. So this first one I posted. So it says it was reported that Tom Brady, the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Bucks, and his wife Giselle Bunchkin, who's a supermodel, are in a really bad time because Tom unretired from football, and Giselle is ready for him to retire so he can spend more time with their family. Tom did say once he retired, he would be more present. So my question was, how does a couple work through this? And is it possible for there to be an outcome where both are happy? So, yeah, Tom Brady, y'all know Tom Brady. Well, not you, y'all don't know, but obviously considered the GOAT of quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
He's now 45, approaching 40, 45 or about to be 45. This is the second time he's unretired. And now Giselle supposedly, again, it was reported, I don't know true or not, she had
Mm-hmm.
moved out. Now she moved back, but like she's ready for him to be done.
Yeah.
He has said he would once he's done what he was going to do. She's ready for that. And for context purposes, it's not so much that she stopped her career because she still is modeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a financial issue because
They're
they both
big paid.
earn very well, and she actually has a higher net worth than him. But so she's doing work. She just wants him home. She doesn't want to have to be that primary person. She's like, hey, you got it now. And so yeah.
And it's
also
dangerous.
Yeah. Also, he left camp this year for like 2 weeks to go be with his family. So just want to put all that context out there. So yeah, so
he left camp? Was he already in? Was he supposed to be retired and then went to camp?
Unretired, went to camp, then left camp and then came back at the end of camp to play, I think, like the last preseason game or something like that, or something like that. But he missed like 2 weeks of camp.
Yeah, because he probably found out she moved out. So
he was on vacation. He did like a vacation with his family, like a no football, uninterrupted vacation with the family. So, and when asked, he said, "It's a lot of stuff going on. That's why I was there."
Yeah.
So, yeah. So how do you work through this? Because to James' point, obviously, football is brings a level of happiness for him, whereas she has been pretty supportive of that. But now it's like, listen, you've been doing this long enough. 45.
What was supposed to be his backup plan? What was supposed to be his next stage?
Well, so he was supposed to retire. He had signed a 10-year, like with the new Amazon sports thing.
Mm-hmm.
He had signed to be a commentator for them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, why would? But he wants to play. The goal. He's frustrated because he wants to play.
He wants to play. Yep. He wants to play.
I don't know, bro. That one's rough because, like, I can see it from a lot of different perspectives, but from a wife perspective and at his age, like, we don't know what putting back together has to happen on the background for them together. We don't know what's already being, what toll this game is already taken on him. We really don't know. And the fact that she's made this ask and he's agreed to it, that this has been, she's even went with the going back and forth, like, that's a lot to put a family through. This lifestyle is a lot to put a family through. Even if it's great, and it's great to be Tom Brady's people, but it's Brady, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's a lot to ask. And considering that, like, he agreed to this was what was okay, and we went back and let you do your thing, and now we are again, I can completely understand why she's over it. Because, like, when will this end? Like, when is it gonna take you getting hurt? Because, like, you 45 years old to play in this game. Like, you not the spring chicken, and these right. They're getting younger, you're getting older. Like, what is it going to take? And then what is that position? What position is that going to put our family in? Are we going to get to enjoy you while you're still you remember us and all of that? Knock on wood, he doesn't get to that point. But, like, he still owes his family more than what he's sacrificed his body and that money for. They should also get time with him at his prime, and so they can enjoy him as well. So I get it. I understand both sides. Like, doing something that you love, it's hard to leave something that you love. And but the thing that you love could kill you, or, that's a fear that your family is really dealing with. But I don't know her real reasons. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I can think at that age, that would be a big factor for me.
Yeah, I would say this. I don't think that injury is... I can see her being a concern because you care. And I mean, obviously there's always a fool out there who could potentially...
And I don't know his position. If he's one of those positions that's like getting...
quarterback. So he's not getting hit.
He's like protected. That. Okay.
He's a quarterback.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so he's not getting hit like that. So unless, like I said, somebody's a fool and they'll probably never play football again if you hurt Tom Brady. But So I could see that. I mean, he hasn't really had any real serious injuries to the point of like an offensive lineman or running back or
Gotcha.
something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of just family. I mean, I could
Yeah.
definitely could see her point again. If you, because what jumped out for me was obviously like I recognize I've been on the other side of this,
Mhm.
and so to be on this side of it, meaning if I was Tom Brady, I recognize now why he's like, I still want to do this. I enjoy it. I'm not ready to give up. I'm not ready to sit, because it's the game. Playing the game is not the same as being a commentator of the game.
Right.
So I'm not ready for that transition yet, and I can still go. I can still play at a high level. Like, I think my bigger concern is like I'd be interested in understanding why he agreed to it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really weren't ready, why do that? Why agree to it? But at the same time,
I could also see why he would have agreed to it.
I could see why he would. Because if I'm 40, first of all, nobody plays in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we looked up the number of players who have played into at 45, it would be probably a very small list of people who play that, and especially who played at this level.
Right.
Still top 5 quarterback in the league. At 45, you're probably not going to find any position unless you're like a kicker or something.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to probably find very many people like that. So I can see that. Part of me wants to be like, just support them. But part of me is also saying,
she's been doing that.
I recognize the toll this takes on family. Their kids are not like high school age where they're, fully self-sufficient. So there's still some time to spend with them. Like I get all of that. That's why I said this was a question for me. I'm like, I really don't know.
Right. Because I mean, what do you tell a person though? Like, because you also, just as you're great at this thing, we understand that you love it. That's beautiful. We're glad, we know, which is why we've allowed this to continue to. We sacrificed our family so that you could go do your awesome thing. You know what I mean? Because the joy that we get it, but at the same time, when do you choose them? I can imagine what that feels like. I bet it's not just her either. Like I can imagine, like he's missing a lot. He's missing a lot, and he also signed up for husband and father. They're not his fans. They're his family. So at the end of the day, they don't really give all the damns about I love this and this is okay. That's cute. We know you're not giving up because like you are retiring at the peak. If you were to do what you said you were going to do, you would be going out at the peak. No one greater. Like ain't no, you are it, So like from a family perspective, sheesh.
It's tough. So, okay. So my first thing, how would you approach this conversation? Like, what's the best way to approach this conversation? Because I personally don't think that there's like a compromise that both would be happy.
Yeah.
But how do you approach this conversation to at least get to a place or have the conversation to a place where it's like, where she's either not trying to leave or he's not miserable because I feel like I gave up too early. You know what I mean? Like
I wonder if they've talked to someone, because considering what's at stake, like it seems like there should be another outside. There needs to be some objectivity looked at this. Like everyone is very personal, which it's a very personal decision, but everyone is emotional and very what I need in this. So I don't, even for me, like being outside of it, I can see. Okay, can you guys hear us? Because we're getting feedback, like people can hear us.
Right, Shanika says she's not there.
Right, but she's the only one that said that. So for everybody else was talking to us. So. Mike, Gina, y'all still in? Can you guys hear us?
Yeah. I don't see. Let's see. Well, they probably can't hear us because we ain't talking, but.
Well, I mean, even before then, like.
Yeah, I see it sound.
Well, they probably can hear us because we ain't talking. But
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear it.
Yeah, Mike is saying he hears us fine. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, Shanika. Maybe leave out and come back in. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Valika.
So yeah, this one is hard because even from the outside trying to figure it out, I'm like, I can see both sides, but from a how do we move past this point? I don't
Yeah.
because in my mind, if she says, okay, fine, go back, do your thing, there's gonna be that's not gonna be home is not happy. Like that's a problem. You know what I mean? Even if he hits that field again, they're not at a good place. And
What you
like,
did last night? He played Sunday night.
but I mean, like if we see by the end of season, like Sis is done, because if he does a great job and they're talking all that talk and they're giving all of that, he is going to have to make a bigger choice than if I'm just gonna sign another contract. And I don't know if it's worth it. Like for me,
Yeah.
that makes me question like a lot of different things. Is it worth it to you to lose all of that at the end of this phase? At the end of this phase.
I hear that, and that was my initial thought too. The other side of me said, "Is it worth it for her too to do that?" If it's so, the only thing I could come to, here's what I came. I came to where both of them. I came to like the Solomon thing, like split the baby in half. See what like just split the baby in half. But to say like I think he should really say like, okay, I'm this is not worth it. My family is worth it, and okay, I'm done. And I think both of them should come with that not like in a bluffing way, but like in a real serious, like this is not worth us losing our marriage for or over breaking our family up because they've been married since I think I said like 2009, so it's been a minute. It's not worth it. So if one more year, go ahead. Nope. You know what? If this is what you really need, our family really needs, this is why I committed to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think because it feels like when these types of things happen, people pick their position and hold on to their position instead of submitting to the other person's decision and then having the conversation from there. And now here's the thing, I'm saying that, but I also say that as someone who when that opportunity was given to me wouldn't do that. Didn't do that, excuse me, didn't do that, and at times wondered what would happen had I have done that.
So do you think that the career matters? The fact that you are essentially beginning when you were asked that, you were at the beginning of your career, your calling, your gift, and being able to exercise that, considering that he has had a full career and hit a lot of the things and done that would not matter at all, or that shouldn't hold any weight. I'm still good. I'm still going for it. Let me do my
I think it holds weight. I do think it holds weight. But when I say no, I mean no in the mindset of the person. I don't think that that holds as much weight. I think you recognize, okay, yeah, I have been, but I'm not done. Because I think there's this, and I'm speaking from a male point of view when I say this. I think there is this desire for men. Again, I don't know if women have this thing too. When it comes to the thing that you're really good at, like your work, that says like there's a level of significance for me, and B, like it's not over until I feel like I'm done, can't do it, don't have the like my skills are declining, and so now I have to I think there's a level of that when you reach a certain. I think it's like that for most men when you find what you're really good at and passionate about it and love. And so I think that part of it might be a part of what he's holding on to that I think I could see would be hard for him to let go of.
I don't think that's necessarily a man thing. I think when you find your thing, you absolutely desire to do that thing.
Yeah.
I think that there's what might be different I fully say this, not at all trying to be shady or like polarizing in any way, but I think that's a privilege of males in general that are allowed to pursue those passions and the things that make them
I can see that.
feel
I
that
can
way.
see that.
Whereas women, we are not afforded that option as often,
Yeah,
and it's not as celebrated / supported among others. It's known that we're supposed to do what's necessary for everyone else to do what they're, so yeah. So if that means nixing that or readjusting or whatever that might be, then that is generally assumed what'll happen for us. So, but I don't think that desire goes away. I think we have to just put it away. Like, so you can.
I was going to say, to your point,
do.
I think that's a really good point that I didn't think about. I think, I thought I was going to say, I think that for ladies it's different because from an identity standpoint, you all have like your work historically is not as much of your identity. Like we're not seen as, to your point, like caregivers or other things like that. Like for the majority of us, our identity is work. And so outside of work, we're not all, we have not all developed to the place where it's like I recognize that my work is a part of who I am. It's not who I am. And so to now remove who I am affects me in a different, like in a different way. But you're right. When saying that, I'm like, that definitely is a privilege, a certain privilege that we have.
And I bet she's kind of, because she's managed to do what she does. Like she travels all over the world. There's a very extensive, regimen she has to keep. She's got to, even at her level, because she's not young either. Giselle is getting up there in age from her model that, so I really wonder when they have that conversation, what his issues are. Like when you mentioned compromise, I thought to myself, well, does he have a problem with her career? Like, has he said that he's got a problem with her doing what she does? And because I wonder what that compromise would be, because it sounds as though she wants him home to do family things. Not that she necessarily wants to go. Like she wants, and because she works, but is she working? Like, I don't see her doing huge campaign. Like, she's not doing those types of things. She's not doing full spreads and all of that. She is the Giselle at this point. So even her engagement in the industry is different than what it was at the peak of her game. So there's a level of, we need you here. We'd like to have you here, and that keep that pull. I could just see that being a very hard sell for her and the fam at this point. And that's frustrating because I also know she loves the hell out of that man. Like she wants him to be happy doing what he does, but at what point
I think vice versa. I'm sure that's a tough one.
It's rough. That was rough.
And the reason I posted this question is because we talk about compromise, but I think what we miss in that conversation, what we miss and when we talk about that sometimes is these times when compromise is not something that is really like there really is no compromise.
Right. So, somebody's gonna have to give it up. Somebody's gonna lose something.
Make the sacrifice. And I think that is overlooked often when we're talking in the context of marriage. And it's like you have to be in a position, like somebody gonna have to say, hey, all right, either she gonna have to say, okay, I'm gonna give you another year, or he gonna have to say, I'm quitting, and deal with the way that they, the hurt feelings about it, and then still try to figure out a way to make sure that their marriage is well, or this marriage is over.
Yeah.
And I think and they have some privileges that we don't have, like we don't have nannies and all of that kind of stuff. So in our relationships, how do we handle that? And really it comes down to, we can do all of the conversing, all of the trying to figure out what the best thing, but it really has to come down to, at some point, we got to figure out what is best for us as a family. And so that means somebody gonna have to give up what they want.
Yeah. It's gonna be a hard, almost gonna be tough. Yeah. This I'm hoping I'm tall enough to reach the smoke detector.
Yes. Go ahead.
Can you tell that it's driving me crazy?
Oh, while you doing? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna. Did you have anything else, Evelyn? You absolutely. Yeah, we did say that earlier too. She said,
Right ahead.
at this point so far, that either choice has been made is going to cause resentment from one side or the other, and could cause long-term damage. They will need to go to counseling. Absolutely, and that's true. Yep. Yep, we did. Yeah, Q did say that brought that up earlier.
Excuse me.
That's real. Somebody gonna have to just be like, you know what, you got this one.
Yeah, because it seems like they're not hearing each other. Something's not, or it's I don't know. I don't have I don't have the license to talk about that, but it's deep. But
It is. It is.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, well, she, I don't know if she is usually there, but I know she, they were does a tweet, before the game, the tweet out, whatever, and she did that. But I don't know if she's at the game or not. But
Because that's a tough spot. She still supports him. She wants him to do well, but she also has got to put her foot down. Because I could absolutely understand her being the one that continues to compromise. And now you're asking me to do it again. And what am I getting from it other than you being just happy? But we're not. You know what I mean? I could.
Yeah. I hear you.
She's also the voice of the babies. Like this is the first that I've heard that it would have gotten to this level. So I don't know a whole lot. I don't follow this family like that, but she's a voice for the family in this situation. So I can only imagine that weight she's carrying also.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Mm-hmm. All right. All right. So your partner gives you an ultimatum. You love your partner and your relationship. How do you interpret the ultimatum, and how would you respond? Are ultimatums manipulative, or is it setting boundaries to continue the relationship?
Child. Y'all know I'm not a fan of ultimatums.
I can't remember. I'm trying to think where I got this one from.
Okay.
But I can't remember. I think it was a video. That's a video.
Look, that twisted mind of yours has been doing the most these last couple of weeks. You've been hitting us with some originals. I'm like, oh. Oh, this is what we doing. Okay.
Listen, I told you we listen. We got to dig. Listen, y'all. We lead the way in this. I bet you about 6 months. Everybody gonna be doing anyway. I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey. I'm not a fan of ultimatums. I'm really not. I often think, why couldn't this have been a conversation? And if it wasn't a conversation, if it was a conversation and it was not fruitful to the point where now someone feels as though they have to demand something happen, that often indicates a much bigger issue than whatever that request is. Ultimatums don't really hit for me because they don't usually address the source of the issue. And that causes people to start doing this because now you back me in a corner. So that's really, ultimatums are my jam. So what I would do is I would fully hear the ask, and we would have a conversation as to why we felt it needed to be this way. That we just have to communicate, and my loving that person and loving the relationship would be a factor, but I think I said this on the post, it wouldn't be the thing that made it so that I necessarily conceded to said ultimatum. Though if it don't make sense, it don't make sense to me. Like, and some stuff can be manipulative, can be manipulative, and and I asked these 2 follow-up questions, kind of like a yes and no, because it can be manipulative and it can also very much be someone trying to set boundaries. And if a person doesn't have the tools to know how to separate them, both can appear to be the same. So that's why I say I'm willing to have the conversation to see where we are, how we got here, what's really going on as to why you feel this is where we are in relationship. Whereas, But yeah,
Yeah. No, I follow that. I think I know younger me. So the reason I put the caveats of you love your relationship, those caveats in there was because I know I could foresee most of us being like, I'm out. But I think when you add the layer of like this is actually something that's good, and that is good for me and good to me, that creates another level of care that that I'm just not gonna walk away from this. So I I I would have in my younger years I would have interpreted ultimatum like you said being backed in the corner. That's what it came out swinging, and I don't
hell
fight.
no, I'm not doing
I
that.
don't fight there. I don't fight like I don't do fighting. Not like feel like I don't fight a lot, but that is a thing. That's one of my buttons. Still is, but now I think I've learned. Lord, please don't let this woman try to give me ultimatum to test this. I've learned to hear it as something as a last ditch effort to get my attention to tell me just how important this is.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, okay, for you to give me an ultimatum, this must be something that is very important. Now I need you to tell me why. Because I'm not seeing what you see. And then hopefully through that process we could come to some type of, middle ground, or like the last question, maybe I just have to stop doing whatever.
Because essentially, this question is what is going on in our previous scenario. This is flat out. She's issued an ultimatum, and she's in that position now. We're like, what are you? Yeah. She's that person. This is her last ditch effort. You know what I mean? And he's
he's playing football. But yeah, so I think that I think that we have to, given the context that we come from, usually determines how we respond to ultimatums.
Using the context that we come from. More words. What do you mean?
Meaning, if we come from a place like myself, so we are like I come from like. If we come from a place where, like I said, where or you're the type of person, maybe not the context that you came from, but you're the type of person where ultimatums, like for me, I recognize I struggle with pride.
Oh.
And so my pride is what makes me come out swinging when I'm given an ultimatum, because you're not going to do that to me. Like my pride, I feel it. Like I know in my body, this is pride. You are being very arrogant right now. So
how dare you? You come with that how dare you energy. Yeah.
Like I know me now. I know that part of me. So I think because that is something in me that I struggle with, I've learned to try to lean towards responding a different way. But I think if you're a person who does not deal with pride the way that I do, you would probably you'd be more prone to hear it as either something that you know that you automatically have to acquiesce to, because I know some people just acquiesce to it because it's like, hey, I don't want it, or it's something that you're able to try to, like you said, communicate through a lot easier without having to go through all of the stuff that I would have to go through. Because first of all, you got to calm me down.
Yeah.
And once you calm me down and get me to stop spitting fire and doing all the stuff in my mind that's going on, and figuring out how I'm gonna, protect myself and all this other stuff I got to do, because you done backed me up in the corner. So now I gotta figure out where I'm gonna bury the body. Don't judge me. The truth. I gotta work all this out in my head. It's just how listen. So, like, still waters run deep.
Yeah.
So once I figure that out, I back up and I'm like, okay. Now that we're calm, listen. Yeah. I don't think everybody does. I'm pretty sure everybody doesn't have to do that.
No, they don't. But I think it comes in different levels. Because, like, I'm willing to hear initially, but all that chit chat and talking through can get real short when we ain't making sense. you know. And when I was younger, I would have been probably, honestly, that was my more malleable days. Like I was more, you that whole acquiesce mother thing that you mentioned earlier, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I understand it's something that you need, and this is you expressing to me that, okay, fine, I'll try it. But you know, as I've gotten older and my critical thinking skills have gotten sharper, and I'm able to understand that a lot of the times when we're younger, we deal with surface first. We deal with what appears to be the issue, what appears to be the solution, what appears to be, you know, like, because we don't have the tools to dig that deep at that time, you know. So over time, I've been able to even, you know, I've been able to hear an ask and be able to position the questions in such a way that we can both, like, they're open-ended. We can have a deeper type of okay, so why are we even asking this? Okay, what brought us to this point? And how can I make a change that can appease this, that can address this, that does not XYZ me and does not XYZ you, and we can move forward and coexist, and everyone feels like they've chosen to make these decisions for the future. Now, once we do all of this, everybody's not willing to take that wise ride with your boy, with your girl. You know what I mean? So if you start doing a bunch of that back and forth with me, then I'm like, that's when I'm gonna put my church finger and head on out, because that's a different issue, and it's no longer the ultimatum or whatever that thing is. We've actually addressed the root. We're just not gonna call it. You know what I mean? Because it's not the thing that you need immediately done to make you feel good. It's something different than that. And if a person can identify, like, and that's usually my issue with ultimatums. Like, if we're willing to get all the way through the thick of it, and we've determined, okay, yes, this thing is the problem, now that must go. Then, okay, cool. Now we just did we had a critical thought session, and we determined, okay, that's our problem. It's gotta go. It's not so much of a, for me, your thing is pride, and for me, it's that blind control. I do not do well with that. I said it, just do it because I said do it. No, we got to talk this thing out. If it makes sense, I will ride till that wheel falls off. Like, I work well with things that make good sense. But if it don't make good sense, and yeah, but that would be my tick. That whole blind control, stomping around.
So do you automatically assume, like, is there, for you, at what point do you realize, or do you think that it's control versus?
Not initially. I don't initially think it is control. I think after we've had some exchanges, and yeah. I feel that. No, and that's real. That's real. I don't feel it initially. It doesn't take long. Like, if you're not receptive to the digging, if you just do it, like, that will get me. So good sense ain't what we after. Oh, okay. Like, we don't really want a solution. You just want to say I won. Then okay, then we can move on. Yeah. I'm not gonna waste my good sense because you don't want to make good sense. I will skip levels real fast when I realize that's not what we're doing, and then I'm just gonna shut that shit down because I'm not gonna do that. Like, and it is what it is, and you know, I'm okay with that. I really am okay at this big age. I'm okay with how that falls.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I think this is a younger thing. But as we get older, we're supposed to learn how to use our words in a way that. And another thing, like, from the other side of the people who do the ultimatums, sometimes you have to identify when a thing just ain't thinging. You know what I mean? And when you put yourself in that position to even have to go back and forth on that last ditch, stomp your foot type of effort, love me this way. Like, you have to check yourself and say, is this really?
Is this thing, when you say is it time to, is it beyond, has it expired?
Yes.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I feel like for me, when it gets to that point, first of all, I think for me, I don't think I've ever given somebody, have I ever given somebody an ultimatum?
Yeah, I can't think of it.
I don't think so. But I think that, like, to me, that reeks of, I feel really desperate doing that. And I would feel like the relationship is already over. But maybe this is my, like I said, my last opportunity. But again, I don't think I have that level of humility again, to be honest with you. Like,
That's fair.
I'm
That's
working on it, but I just don't know if I, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I just don't know if I can do that. And
I just think something this strong where you're willing to bet the whole house on it. Do you really, if it's something, how does your partner not know that that's something that's that important to you? To the
and that's
point where you have to put yourself out there like, I'm gone if this thing doesn't happen. Why? And if you have communicated it up until that point, and you're now to the point where it's all or nothing, that's kind of your
yeah,
answer. That's kind of your it says one thing if you're just popping an ultimatum on a person and they have no clue this is the thing that you want. But if you communicated it in different ways and said your thing and done your and it's still happening, and to the point where you feel, okay, well, this is all I can do now, just say you do this thing or else, like the or else has already happened. Like they already
yeah. I'm sitting there, now what I'm sitting there thinking, like, is that right to feel like that? Like is there, especially if we're talking about like marriage, is there a place for that,
for what you feel.
or a place for this? I'm gonna do this as like a last, as a
No.
thing to, I'm putting everything on the table. Like I'm gonna, like this fight to the,
Yeah.
fight to the death type. Like I don't, I I'm just saying, I don't know. I think that part of me, I've said this before. I think that part of me is fractured.
Yeah.
Like I think so I don't know. I think that you should do everything you can. I think that you should work. I think you should sacrifice, all of that kind of stuff. I think you should communicate as best as possible. I'm all of that. But I wonder, when it gets to that point, have we gone too far into this place of, or like I said, or is it really just, I'm trying to communicate this in such a way that you really understand how, because I don't really think you understand how important stopping or starting this is to me.
There's definitely levels to it. And I think sometimes we give ultimatums get wrapped up in a lot of petty things. But there are very real reasons why a person can say this thing must end. I'm thinking of addictions and you know what I mean, things like that are causing harm and that are putting people in danger, and folks are having like those types of things when we're talking where we got intervention level type stuff where this is just your skirt is showing, your slip is showing, you know what I mean, like bruh, get it together, like those types of things. I think that's that, but to me, that's a whole other level of ultimate. That doesn't fall in the level of conversational ultimatums. There's a difference. I'm trying to save you. It's not even really about us. It's a saving of I love you enough to say this thing must end or you're going to lose all of it. You know what I mean? And that has to sometimes do that shake for a person that we were talking about earlier. But to me, that would be the acceptable kind. But but that whole, what you just mentioned, that fight to the just because.
Yeah. Okay. What's up, KG? Yeah, Mike says we often hear each other loud and clear over and over and just refuse to change. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I gotta think about that some more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about it. Lord, I hope I ain't ever got no ultimatum given to me. All right. Anything else on that one? Yeah.
We've had some side conversations about this. That one makes my eye twitch. I hate it when folks do that.
All right, ladies. Wait, is this the? Oh, this is the part. This ain't right. Oh, is that it?
That's the one you sent me. I mean, I don't know what you talking about. That's the one that you said.
No, not that one. No, hold on. I know what I'm looking for. Hold on.
Because I don't. I'm like, what is
I'm
it?
looking for. No, you know what I'm talking about. I'm looking for. Hold on. So here's the question. The question is, it's the abuse words not matching abuse one.
Oh, you just got to post that meme. I didn't make that one.
Okay, hold
That
on.
was our supplement. Sorry.
Y'all good?
That won't have a green
Another
screen.
supplement? I thought that was.
It was
Oh,
one.
this
Yeah,
one was the supplement.
go ahead and post. Yeah. We had a miscom. That's okay.
I thought this one was the supplement. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Here it is. Come on, please. Now you want to take forever to do that?
Yep, because we watching. We watching the pot.
Of course. In a second, I'm just gonna read it. All right, I'm just gonna read it because it want to act retarded.
Okay.
I mean, the act special.
Thank you. And you see my look, I was like, oh Lord, they're gonna look at with that. Yes.
Special. Sorry. So okay, so the meme said, if you really love that person, no. People don't want to hear this. Words not matching actions is called manipulations, and refusing to be held accountable for it is called gaslighting. Honey, we're talking abuse. So the question, So the question was, have you ever looked at abuse in these terms, in the terms of words not matching actions being manipulation and refusing to be held accountable as gaslighting? Does that, for most people, equal abuse? What's the question?
Mm-hmm. I think over time, when it's consistently done over time, it can absolutely become abusive. Yes. I think gaslighting and manipulating a situation can happen sometimes, and folks don't even realize they're doing it. It's just a common reaction to being told something that they're in disagreement with. Like, it's just a
mechanism.
What'd you say?
Almost like a defense mechanism.
It's absolutely. Thank you. Yes, it's a defense mechanism in a lot of ways, and then often you can talk someone through that and be like, no, that's not what that is, and then we can have a common ground. But if that is a trait of a person's their character, their personality, to twist and make situations work for them, and this master of emotions and all this other mess, and can never be wrong, and it's never them, and it's always something else, and that can take a huge toll on a person in relationship, whether it's romantic, familial, work. If you are consistently in relationship with a person who has this type of personality, that can absolutely give you abuse. Yes. It can show up in that person as they've been abused. Yes. We just use that a lot now. We like to attach it to every situation really, really quickly. Oh, that's abuse. That's abuse. Okay. No.
Yeah. So your answer is, if it's done consistently over time, it's abuse.
Mm.
But
it's a pattern. Like this is the way this person operates. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can't say if I've had an argument with the person and they gaslit me or were manipulative, I was abused. Like, I'm not gonna. That's not the same. That's not the same thing.
Okay, pushback. So are we saying that just because it's gaslighting, and as opposed to if it were physical abuse, we would only say one time, we would say physical abuse.
It's possible. To me, one bears more. One, you socked the hell out of me. That hurts hard right now today. If me and you have an argument and it's our first argument and it didn't go right and some ish went down and it wasn't, I'm not hurt from that. Like, I'm not, that doesn't stick with me the same way. But if in 6 months' time, 6 months' time, every time we have a disagreement, we're in this space, and now I have 6 months of interactions to roll back on at the end of each interaction, that's doing something different than just that one and done. So to me, the impact is different, which means it doesn't carry the same weight.
Okay.
I see what you did there, though.
Yeah.
I had to pause. I was like, I mean, yeah, but
yeah. I think for me, it is, I don't know again if I would even really say not being held accountable is abusive. Refusing to be held accountable for your words not matching your actions is gaslighting. Yeah, I don't know if I would even call that abuse.
Words not matching your actions.
Yeah. And refusing
to be. It depends on what words you're using and saying what actions you're gonna. It depends. If you,
I think words not matching actions is manipulation. It can be manipulation, not every time. I think sometimes it's
not every time.
Yeah, but yes, I think it can be manipulation. And refusing to be held accountable for your words not matching, or for the manipulation, is gaslighting. I just don't know if I would go far enough to say abuse, that those are, to me, are abuse. I think they are, what's the word I think they are? Now I gotta look up abuse. So if I'm defining abuse is defined as to use something to bad effect or for a bad purpose, to misuse, to treat a person or an animal with cruelty or violence, especially regularly or repeatedly. Abuse, the improper use of something, cruel and violent treatment of a person or animal.
When applied to the levels of intimacy and vulnerability attached to relationship, depending on those asks and how those words are used to manipulate that relationship, that can very much be abusive over time.
Yeah, that's the definition. I think over time. Yeah, I think maybe that's the.
And they even said repeatedly, like
repeatedly. Yeah. Maybe that's because I too worry, not worry, but I'm burnt out on the way we abuse. Let me just say that. We will. Yeah, I am. But I think I think that it's just really bad treatment. I think that to not allow yourself to be held accountable is immature. Mm-hmm. I think that is the sign of a person who is not ready for a mature relationship. But yeah, I don't, again, unless it's done repeatedly, I guess it's not abuse. Okay, I'm gonna go with the definition. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go.
I was gonna say, I know a therapist or two would disagree with you, boy. That would consider those things in addition to, like, you have to put these in the context of relationship, not just a regular encounter or conversation with someone who's playing in your face. That's different. There's a different level of trust and that goes into
Yeah.
a relationship that allows
And
those conversations to hit different and way more than someone else.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm with that. I'm with that.
I get it
Mike
though,
said,
because it's a lot.
yeah,
It's a lot. And as a woman,
yeah.
I even am. I've gotten to a point where I'm more apprehensive even before I'll go down a rabbit hole of, yes, that's what that is, because I take those terms very seriously. They are reserved for, real ish.
When they're
So
actually
you
done.
gotta play
Yeah.
around with that, abuse. Wait a minute, what done happened now? What is it?
Yeah.
So I too even have to, I grapple with this in the realm of conversation, especially. We're talking just words here. But I also know the damage that can do, that words and that mind game that happens with the person. A lot of the times this part is what happens prior to the preferred abuse, the ones that everybody's willing to call abuse. Like, this is what allows for that space, for that to even take place. This happens first. This the gateway. Gaslighting and manipulation is the gateway into those deeper, more
So okay, so let me throw this out. Let me throw this out here too. I think that this thinking that we're agreeing this is true, that this is can be over time. I think that as a man, we have to start using this kind of language, because I see a lot of ladies who do this.
Yeah.
I know a lot of ladies who do this, and I think that as men, I mean, people, period, but specifically as men, we have to have the skill enough to acknowledge that what's happening to you and what's happening to us in these relationships. Where if this is something that the person who you are dating is doing, where their words don't match their actions, and then that feeling that you have of unfulfillment, whatever, is important. Like, you have to be like, man, I'm in an abusive relationship. This woman's abusive. She's emotionally abusing me.
But
I think
that is real. That is so true, because we don't folks adapt with what they have to be able to survive. Not saying it's a good thing, but women are not as physically strong as men. Words are our weapon. So that whole wordplay, that thing, yes, it's very important. Which there's benefits to men learning these terms and therapy, counseling, all that. You might learn a lot about some situations to help you through that. It's not just about you. It's about you learning the terminology, connecting the feelings with the action. The men absolutely need to know this. This is this is probably in most women's toolbox. Maybe not consistently, but they got it. So, like, to be able to call that out, and for what it is, because she might not know either. She doesn't. I'm a gaslight. I'm a manipulate, because that is what we have been taught as well. That has been the way that we have been taught to communicate. Is what we saw. So we also have to teach each other. That is what communication does. So the more we learn about the ways that we do this and what these things are, this feels like this when this happens. Oh, well, that's called this. Like, you can have a conversation where you don't have to keep arguing. You can learn better ways to do it. There are tools to do it better so that you can have better relationships. But yeah,
it's good.
And then we can stop misusing the terms, because we actually know what the hell they mean. Because
that part. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it for that one.
That one, yeah,
that's good. Okay. Now you want to add all of them to it. Now they want to be added to the studio. Good job.
Now that we freestyle, you can have it now.
I need you now. Oh yeah, let's go. Here we go.
Hey Sugars, have you heard about the Blocked and Beautiful Braid Balm from Elegance by Design? The days of braids being weighed down by heavy products that don't hold are over. Blocked and Beautiful Braid Balm is perfect for box braids, updos, and the most intricate of braid styles. Let your creative juices flow, knowing Elegance by Design has your braids on lock. Order yours now at elegancebydesign.com.
It's about time for the second round of that ad. I got some new images to put up there. Your girl been.
Oh, you ready?
Yeah, let's go. Wait, you missed the other one. We didn't do the other one. We're gonna pass on it. That's fine.
What's the
one that you skipped thinking that other one was? It's fine. We can move on. All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Dating standards. What should they be?
I wish I had actually the video.
Huh?
Did y'all? So okay. So
this is what the lady talking.
So you
right?
saw the. Yeah, you saw the video, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there's a video. I didn't know what this was for, but yes, thank you. I know what you're talking about now. So there is a video that I believe started on TikTok of a woman who was talking about a man who basically was wanting to take her out on a date. He's courting her. And she was mentioning how engaged he was in the conversation, how he had offered, he said, I'd like to take you out. And he says, I want to take you out on this day to do this thing. He's intentional. He's got plans made. He's done the reservations and, hitting all the details and checking up with her and, making her feel all like sis is gushing in this video. Okay. She's so excited. She want to go buy new dresses and makeup, and she wants to lean all the way in to the excitement and the rigmarole of getting ready for this date. She's excited because this man has put all of this thought in it. Well, I say all of this. He has expressed thought and attention to taking her out in a way that she has not been used to. So Wynn saw this video, and this lady is, I don't know who done put her in the vein, but she has been all over my timeline for all types of different videos. She's got quite a few of these videos. And I'm also going to say is she's not getting the positive feedback that you think she is from a lot of folks. Yes.
Really?
Yes. Everyone is not receiving this the same way. So Wynn saw this video and asked the question, this is great. I love, this is beautiful and everything, but like a lot of this should be just what we do. Like, have we gotten to this point now where the basics, I want to take you out on this day to do this thing. He set the reservation, it's not a what you do, what you want to do, like, and they show it and it's an actual good time. He paid, like all of those things are what some of us thought were just a part of it. So we're asking this week, what should they be for men and women? Like dating standards in general, like what are they? And I have to, before I ask, like I had to say, I giggled as I was typing this image because I almost put as like where usually the question goes, what are those from like the Black Panther thing? Because like these days it's with the whole thought of even having standards and expectations in a relationship is like, no, we don't do those. You just get together and you figure it out. Like you accept me as I am, and that's just it. Like everyone's just take me as I am. There's no room for improvement or change. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Dinners and dates are free because I don't pay and you don't pay. Like nobody pays anymore. Like it's just we all run a rev shot around here, but get naked. You're like, that is the thing. I swear. swear, observing some of these conversations, that is absolutely what it looks like. How dare you expect me to behave in a way that is attractive, that you would want to spend additional time with me? How dare you expect some damn sense out of me? Oh, the audacity. So yeah, I absolutely had a what are those moment myself. It took everything in me not to put that on there and hope that y'all just felt me.
I'm
Jeez.
I can't lie to you. I was like, when I was like, why are we so excited about this normal stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
He called her on a regular basis. He told her, "Hey, I'm a nurse, so I'm not sure about my schedule, but whatever day I'm off next week, I want to see you."
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. That was Mm-hmm.
He once he knew what it was, he made a reservation at a restaurant and told her, asked her if she had any food allergies, and then when it was what he said, she said Italian. He said, "Oh, well, okay, I'm gonna change it because the place I had was Italian." She said, "No, I don't change it.
I'm gonna find something to eat. I'm gonna find something on that menu that you picked."
I'm like, how is this unusual?
It is. It is. It is very much so. Yes. Now, I'm assuming you're kind of asking the ladies this because of, it was a woman.
I'm asking ladies and men, because as a man, as a man, to me, those things are like, I enjoy those things, like to be able to take you out, and like I get, again, like we said a couple weeks ago, I get every so often, like I get super busy and like, hey, yeah, but why is it a big deal to take your woman out and plan a date? What did we learn as men that said that wasn't something that we did? That it was wrong to meet or bad or to meet a woman and be like, and hey, I'm gonna take, and it ain't always gotta be dinner. It ain't gotta be super expensive, but at least to put some thought. How do we devolve to that?
We started having community forums where we talked about what everybody doing, and then Thirsty came about, and then Simping, and folks wanted to impress women wanted other women impressed, and men wanted other men impressed, which then left us all to ourselves.
So everybody's single.
Yeah, and crazy, and that is something that has been so. I can't say frustrating, but it is frustrating because you want people to be happy and in good relationships and stuff, but like watching some of the thought process for some of these new dating ways and the way that we approach each other has literally blown my mind. It's not smart. Like there are valid things of times past that need to go, that are not helpful, that are not healthy. They don't push anything forward. And then there are some things that did work, that were working, that allowed people to shift into a gear that was different than what you do for everyone else. Yeah. This thing that we're doing now, where it's taboo to even say there is an expectation, there is a standard different than what you give to everyone else. Like the fact that this is a question makes me go, say what? Yeah, it's problematic because how you show up for your person is huge. And the level of effort and intention that you put into those interactions is important because you're supposed to care about this person, right?
And this is the person. This is the person who you are potentially,
right,
who you are expecting to go to make a effort for you. Mm-hmm. So how is it that we are expecting someone to place to go above and beyond for us, but we cannot at least plan a date.
Yeah.
And why is that thirsty? Like to me, it's to me it is the standard of, again, like I just said, if my expectation is that if we're going to be in a relationship, that I am going to give you full effort as much as I can, and I'm going to consistently do that because I expect you to do the same thing.
Right.
And so if there is, and I'm not doing it because I expect, but I do. There is at some point.
That's
There's
the reciprocation of it.
Yeah, I expect some reciprocity. I expect some grace. You know what I mean? Like, I expect that when I mess up and do something bad, that you pull from all the great things that I have done and be like, you know what? This is a bad moment. He's not a bad person. Like I that to me is a normal expectation. But if you don't have any of those deposits, how are you gonna make a withdrawal?
You're not.
And then you get something goes wrong, and now all of a sudden you have nothing to pull from because all you got is a bunch of, I don't know,
demands. Because like we'll set expectations of how we're supposed to be cared for.
Yeah,
but as soon as someone else sets an expectation of their care, it's like, no, that's too much. That doesn't align with what I have going on. So yeah, I don't get it. But this is also why I push back on that when we have conversations about happiness being a inside job. You know, when all that went viral, and you know, Will and Jada had everybody saying what they were saying. You know, those types of things. When we remove the relationship from relationship, like when you go, what's the point? Like if you're not going to, yes, your person is supposed to accept and love you as your individual self, the thing that makes you you, that's unique, that is, you know, specific to you. That is your person. That's cool. However, how you engage, how you grow with, how you build, how you move forward together with someone is not meant to be set in stone. That's something you figure out together. So you can't come with your outline and then just say your assignments are due on these days so that you can stay my boo. That's not how that works.
But that's almost what happens, though.
But that's when we're outside looking in, that's absolutely what it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely what it looks like. So, you know, I do think there are standards. I think there needs to be there's an understanding of communication. I want to hear from you. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about the basics. Like I need to know if you are the person that's interested in me. 2 or 3 times a week is not enough times for me to talk to you. The average woman wants to engage with a person, have more than 2 or 3 communication touches throughout a week's time frame. Even with you being busy, even with you having a job, you doing all the other stuff. You got kids, you got life, you got crazy shit, all that other stuff. There are 7 days in a work week. If you are interested in me, why are we only communicating 2 to 3 times within a 7-day?
Is that what normally is happening?
You'd be surprised what's happening. I'm just shooting it out there, but like there's people who say types of communication. They say, "Well, I'm busy. I ain't gonna just be sitting up on the phone with you all day, and I'm supposed to reach out all these other times. I called when I needed to." Okay, but this is a person that you're wanting to potentially share life with. So it's not a matter of the number at that point. It's the matter of you did not think to make time within 7 days to reach out more than these times. Even if I'm reaching out, say she's reaching out 2 to 3. This is just one piece of it. I'm just talking about one piece. We talk about communication, you know what I mean? And the whole, if we're asking for this type of care, and it's often some pushback. So like those types of things, I can say that I would like to talk to you once or twice a day to make sure that, you know, hey, how you doing? I'm thinking of you, that I just keep in communication. You would be surprised. There are so many people that say, I can't do that. I'm not going to be able to do that. Once a day, I talk to you. We talked on Monday. I told you I was good. I told you I was going to be busy on Tuesday, and I hollered back at you Wednesday night. Where the F you been from Monday morning to Wednesday night? Like ain't nothing happened where you wanted to tap in with your girl between Monday morning and Wednesday night? Like,
yeah.
You know, those are the types of debate that we see take place, and people are like arguing for. And I'm like, but you said that you liked me though.
I'm
Or him.
trying to figure out how is it that I get if this is somebody who I'm trying to court,
Mm-hmm.
I maybe this is me. I just don't understand how you don't want to talk or text, especially at the beginning.
Most
Like
people.
there's still the giddy excitement of of newness that is still on it, where where you getting to know each other and you're trying to learn stuff about each other.
Mhm.
So why
You
would
should
you
have lots of
not want,
questions at that stage.
even if it's like, I mean, again, as busy as I am, like you could text.
Mm-hmm.
You could text you, hey, busy day today, just thinking about you. What's your favorite color? Like, okay, cool. And you might not get back, they respond and you might not be able to respond for a while, but you told them it's a busy day.
Right.
It's a busy day. If it takes me a while to respond, that's why I got a lot of meetings or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I'm thinking
Cool.
about you. Talk to
Yeah,
you.
but you're on my mind. Like I said, you're on my mind. Hey, let me drop this question off for you, and we'll finish it later when I finish with my meeting.
Not
Well,
hard. Not
well,
hard. Not hard.
Again, I'm not suggesting you gotta have, and I don't think you are either, 2 hour conversations every day. Like it's not, no, but just use on my mind, what's going on. Hey, something more than WID and hey beautiful.
Yeah.
Or hey handsome.
Mm-hmm. And even from the perspective of the video, like, so she's talking about how he went through the old school process of dating, essentially. She's been out here in these current dating streets where that does not happen. There are women who will say that it will be daytime. The man will ask them on the date, hey, you want to go out on Saturday night? Cool, yeah, let's do it. And then Saturday afternoon, what you got? What you want to do? What you have in mind? Getting dressed and waiting for you to show up and getting in the car, and then you telling me what we're doing. Like that is like, you know what I mean? So like, this is a group date now all of a sudden. So there's so that also like takes some of the shine off of the experience. You know what I mean? So now women are going at it. So now she's like, well, all right, well, since we got to figure it out. So now she might reserve some of her stuff. So that then starts to adjust how men and women are moving.
So let me say this for a man who's listening to this. What doing that does is it actually undermines what you actually want. Yes. Because from the beginning, you have set the tone that you are not a leader. Mm-hmm. That's what you do when you do that. And she's looking for a leader. So now to come back later and have a conversation about submission, you're going to struggle because you have already shown her that you are not the type of man she could submit to.
I love that word. You're going to struggle. Yes, you're going to struggle.
I'm just saying, you're going to be told she won't submit because you won't make a reservation.
You're going to struggle.
Women submit if you can't make a sound decision on a regular basis. That ain't going to happen.
Nope.
Sorry, hate to tell you that. Not going to happen. And she might submit for a minute, but then she's going to be like, nah, bro, can't handle that. So let me go ahead and take that back. Mm-hmm. So you got to make decisions. Yeah. Now, it's one thing I don't have any issue with with the man finding out what she likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
What her food preferences are. Does she have food allergies? Do you have food that you don't like? I'm going to say this, and this is something that I recently started doing. As you're listening in conversation or you're having conversation and she tells you something she likes, it would behoove you to make a note of it.
Yeah, buddy. That little phone that stays stuck to your Palm Pilot.
A whole lot of sense to just be like, okay, earlier today she said she liked this. Do. Boom. If she says she don't like this, put it down. It would help
links in there, all that stuff.
listen, put a link in there, be like, oh, she said she liked this. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Link, copy, paste, boom, got it.
You need a just because, go to your notes. You need a I'm sorry, baby, go to your notes. you need
I
Yeah,
got,
that's true
I
though.
got,
That's very true.
yeah, do that.
Mhm.
Thank me later.
Yeah.
But she won't. But like, no, and then listen. It's like sometimes you gotta listen. But yeah, you can't. You can't. Okay, understand communication. What else? I think that's it.
Yeah, definitely understanding of communication. God, that's like 1 through 3 in so many different ways. But I also think understanding the person you're dating are not the same as your friends. They will be your friends, but they are not the same as your friends. Like we were talking earlier about the different levels of vulnerability and access that we give people that we're in a relationship with, as opposed to those that we're just hanging out with or know. If I know my homegirl is flaky, I'm not really putting a whole lot into the plan until like hey girl, I'm on my way. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put my shoes on now. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we going? Oh, okay, cool. That doesn't move me the same way as if my person is flaky. You know what I mean? And I'm consistently putting a different level of trust or responsibility or hope in the way that we move, and then that's not coming to fruition. So understanding how you move with others, there's a higher level that should happen with the person that you're in relationship with. So a standard to me would, if we're talking about standards and making it clear that you're going to, effort shows up different in the relationship as opposed to just folks that you know. Like there is an expectation or there's a different level of effort for relationship. That's not cute. Like the understanding of communication. It's not
Yeah,
simple,
yeah.
but yeah.
So what I hear you saying is like, be more intentional about the exploration of
That
the
connection. Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Intentional. I like that. Yes. It makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Because if you could tell me all of your boys' favorite, all of his favorite ball players since y'all was in the 8th grade, and you got all of these things that you know about all your boys, and all these people, and then all that other stuff, but you can't remember that I like mayonnaise over mustard, or I like this or like that. You're like, understanding you've got years with these people, but
Right.
I'm also the person you want to be naked with.
Yeah, I think and I think that's something that comes over time. Like, I think that's something that comes over time, comes with time too.
It does come with time, but there's also intention that comes. You don't just magically one day wake up and remember, oh yeah, it's that.
Yeah, no.
That's
What I
how,
mean by
yeah.
that is, I think that it comes over time. So I think that just like with the previous thing I said about creating a system,
Mhm.
that there are going to be times where, especially in the beginning, that you're not going to catch everything.
Yeah.
But you should be able to catch some stuff. Like, I tell you a story about the chocolate covered strawberries. Like, I got that she wanted something on that day.
Right.
And so I had to make sure she got stuff on that day.
Mm-hmm.
I just got the wrong darn. One of the things I got was just the wrong thing.
Right.
So it was something that she said she didn't like. So I think you have to, it was like, okay, he heard me when he said that I want something on that day. He just struck out on one of the things he gave me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean by it's okay that you, even in your intentionality, it's not like perfection is not the
Oh yeah, no. No. You go
because
stuff.
like you said, you have years to have perfected that with your friend, with your friend circle. Whereas in this instance, if it's just at the beginning, you're not going to get it perfect, but there definitely should be it should be easy to tell that you were trying.
Yep. And the same for women. Like y'all know I'm equal opportunity around here. Like we pay attention. Details are our thing. That is what we do. So if this man has expressed to you that there is a certain way that he likes this and does this thing and that he prefers it that way, you just keep, ooh, my bad. Ooh, you don't like tomatoes? Like those that will drive a man batty. Like, because they already don't ask for a whole lot. It ain't a whole lot on the list generally. So, like, you can't remember the 2-3 things. Like, those types of things matter. And then they don't want to hear that that's wife stuff, because no, that's just you heard me. Like, that's not wife stuff, because we good for that. That's not wife stuff. That's just my stuff. Big difference. So that is, we can't be proud of our ability to listen and be attentive to detail and then miss it. You get every homegirl's birthday, all they babies, they mamas, them, they aunties, them. You on time with the birthday gifts. You helping planning the parties. You picking folks up and sending reservations. Like, you are but you just can't quite get it when okay, well, then you just can't quite get it then. You know what I mean? You can't be mad when he ain't feeling that no more, because get it. You gotta be, there is a different level of intention that comes when dating, should be, for your person. What you got? What's your next?
Go on actual dates. Like, that should be hard, but like, go on an actual, like, you want to date, you actually have to go on dates. So there has to come a point. I'm a believer. This is where the old school part that I'm a believer of taking the time to talk to each other on the phone and text. But at some point, when there's that, you have to move past that stage and say, okay, I think up until, from what we can find out on this, in this part, we're compatible. Let's actually see if we're compatible in person.
Yes.
And now let's go on an actual date. Go to dinner. Go to, and they don't all have to be dinner. Let me throw that out there. Like, it could be,
we back outside. It's stuff
it
to
could be anything. Yeah.
do.
I don't recommend first dates going to the movies. Even though I have done it before. I don't necessarily recommend a first date in the movie, simply because you can't talk in movies. But if it's a movie and something, but something where you can talk, but you actually have to go out and plan a date. I think that's got to be an expectation. This thing of, like, I don't necessarily have an issue with a first date if it's very early on, we meet for coffee. I don't necessarily even have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But that can't be as far as it goes. If we just meeting, we're still in that talking phase of trying to figure out if we like each other and compatible, and that's something that both of y'all want to do, cool. But at some point, you got to go on.
Right. Once we've established that it's me and you, then date me. Yes, I agree.
On an actual date.
I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, like, picnic in the park is fine. Like, you can do picnic in the park. Again, it doesn't always have to be around food. It could, it could be, let's go, I don't know, like,
even for like the movies, I think the way that we do movies should be different. Like, don't do movie nights. Catch the matinee and then go and have great conversation about the movie. Like, pick a movie that's different, that's not, something that you're going to be able to talk about afterwards. And then, go early in the day. So not only is there time to talk and spend time with each other and really engage, there's also, you're not leaving the movie theater at 0 dark 30 and now there's this, so what do we do? The whole question of physical whatever is totally redirected just based on the time of the damn day. Like, you know what I mean? So you can still get your movie in where you can engage with each other and see, is this something that we like, and if it's our genre or whatever that we dig, but then you can have a conversation afterwards. You can have that lunch or that coffee or whatever it is. You can hang out, walk, and talk, sit down somewhere, sit under a tree and chat about it. Find you a table and sit for hours and do your thing. Like, you rework those things that allowed us to still be like, I spent money and I still don't know who that person was, because that's what we're hearing now. Like, that everybody want to tie it back to the pocket, Dating is expensive, but if you're thoughtful, if you're intentional about how you date, you can maximize your money and maximize your time. Might rather maximize your book. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you do it right, you can maximize and you win it all the way around. So yeah, I'm not team no movies or anything like that. I just think we need to position them better within the date.
I'm team no movies for the first date.
Yeah. I can feel that. I can feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's and again, I've broken that rule before and it worked. I'm saying I just think that can't be the norm because again,
No.
we're just trying to talk. So but I do like the idea of matinee. And the time that I have broken that rule, there was ample conversation before. So it wasn't like we were just trying to get to know each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Museum Park is a very good first date.
So fun. I agree. Lots of fun. You give me goofy and being silly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Here's my next one. This is a big mistake I see that we gotta stop doing. Y'all. Sex is a conversation that should organically happen. And I promise you, it will organically happen.
Mm-hmm.
You do not, when you are just meeting somebody, just start talking about how often you like it, the ways you like it, when you gonna get it. How, like that's a conversation that you have to be, again, it has to organically happen, and that a person wants to feel safe about talking about.
Right.
So if I just met you, I don't want to talk about that because now, as a man, that's problematic. Well, it's not as problematic for men. Let's be honest. It's not as problematic for men, but it's still problematic. If you talk about money too much, that's a problem. More problematic for most men. But for a woman to hear you talk about sex very early, to her is an indication that that's the only reason that you're there, and or that's really the main thing that you see her as. And no woman wants to first be seen as that. She knows we want to have sex. Let's just be clear. Every woman knows we want to have sex. And guess what? So does she. She wants to have sex too. So there's a strong indication that if she gave you her phone number and she's talking to you,
she could see herself having sex with you.
You pretty darn close to getting it anyway.
It's possible.
So you just gotta chill and like just have the conversation, and don't say something that's gonna make her be like, never mind.
Yeah.
So you don't have to bring it up. It'll come up organically in conversation, or you'll get to a point in talking where it just evolves into that because you know you're in a place that's the time to have the conversation. But until then, don't lead with that. Don't the first week talking. So you meet somebody, you in the y'all talk. That's just not good.
Yeah, it's not. It's yeah. It's creepy. It does give all of the things, all the feels that Wynn just shared, for sure. And even in women who like, it's hard because right now, especially on social media, you talk so much about sex. There's so many sexual conversations, not necessarily like pornographic conversations, but there's conversation about sexual preferences and newness and things that are out and about, and people are commenting on that. So often, if considering a lot of us know each other or have an understanding of one another via social media before we actually meet, you can know things about the person that you're dating that you haven't had a conversation about. So being mindful that you may have access to very intimate details about a person does not necessarily give you access to them in those ways. So that has been something that I've seen has been blurred from some folks, as they've started, they knew them socially, my friend, mutual friends, friends of a friend. We have some comments back and forth every once in a while. I saw him on a post and all that type of thing. So when you finally get face to face, they think it is a continuation of the randomness that was said in the thing. No, there's a different level of intimacy that you must get into after you've gone to me and you mode. And that social media component is different. You used to have to know a person before you talk about it. Now you really don't. You can know of a person, based on a third party 6 degree of separation type of engagement. And
Mhm.
now we're here in this space, and now there's this understanding and this assumption that we're in this space because we've shared this conversation here. That's not the
And
same.
doesn't that, and that makes it to me even more of a reason why not to get into that conversation
Yes.
early, because now, like, as we're seeing now, y'all talk just like we talk, and y'all got lists, and you know what I mean, and comparing notes, and so now, like, some of the things you say, men and women, like,
Mhm.
people, the streets know.
They know.
The
Yeah.
streets know. So
Yeah.
you have to be very, like,
You might want somebody to like you a little bit more before you bring up sexy. You might not want that stranger situation to happen when you want to talk about yourself and find out some things you don't know about yourself. You might want them to care a little bit before they give you the real. Like, that might behoove you to give you a little time before you get into that conversation. Your feelings hurt.
yeah.
You're right, though. That's so true.
So it's like, you gotta be careful. Not just talking about it, but who you're sharing your blessings with.
Yeah.
Everybody, you ain't blessing everybody anyway. So, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, there's this. Oh, I know I mentioned earlier. I know because we got to wrap us up at 9:50. But to say earlier, like, the twist that I've seen on Homegirl's videos, because she's made quite a few of these videos where she's expressing the difference in what she's had before and what she wants now, and you know, the one about Oh Boy, she's got a couple that are going, but like, I've seen, I think it was this one that had been reposted, and it was like, dude doesn't really like you. You know, you telling on yourself right now the fact that, you know, dudes in the past may not have really liked you if you're not used to this type of thing. You're telling on yourself right now because you're not used to this type of care, this type of treatment. This is just what dudes do. So I only mentioned this because at the beginning of this, I was like, it's not getting the same, oh, everybody does this, you know, good job, sis type response. There are folks who are like, they feel kind of what we're doing, but it's like, this is the less than, like, your expectations are too low. You shouldn't be razzle dazzled by this. But I think that is also disingenuous for what our actual environment is right now. We can't have so much conversation about what we ain't gonna do and then still say that we are doing all of these things. You know what I mean? So like, and I think if anything, that is the asterisk that we need to keep in our minds as we are out here engaging and absorbing this content. We're engaging with each other while absorbing this content. The perspectives and how quickly they can shift just based on who's sharing that information, because we are very much living a reality that we are allowing to be warped based on what people say it is. You know what I mean? So, because like, sis is not crazy for being surprised and excited that dude planned the date. You know what I mean? To that level, because we know that there are droves of folks who are anti plan the date. They are team, what you doing?
Right. Which
okay.
Is, I mean,
they fight for it. You know what I mean? Like, they fight for it. So like, they, you know, so when you're going out and you're experiencing each other, remember that we're all kind of in this cipher and trying to figure out all of these different pieces. So while yes, you know, there's a lot that needs to be adjusted and shifted into this next vibration of where we are, a lot of the basics are very much the basics for a reason. They've stood the test of time because they create the space for people to actually learn about each other and decide, is this it? You know, so when we start to finagle and move that around, it leaves us with blind spots. It makes us more vulnerable to the same pain that we're trying to call ourselves protecting ourselves from. We saving money, but not ourselves. And I think that
Or
Yeah. Or yeah. So perspective is everything, but like take it all in and watch that through a very real, non-rosy colored lens. Yeah. It's hard out here for a pimp. Hard. So yeah, this. There are standards, and we should get some, and we should discuss them with the people that you're dating. Like, even if you don't want to do it like on a social media space, have that conversation. That is something you should talk about early. Is what you expect from a relationship, and don't give the cutesy. What is it? If I'm gonna be upset if it's Sunday and I don't hear from you until Tuesday, I'm gonna have a problem. You might get that "have a nice life, be blessed" text, and I don't, you know what I mean? Like, and you might have to be like, "Babe, I'm sorry." Like, they understand that's the level that I go to before I come down, because that's what I need for communication. And you can have that conversation in advance and say crazy-ish like that when you're not in the midst of "have a nice life, be blessed" because you ain't text me since Sunday. You know what I mean? I can describe my level of crazy when I'm not in the midst of my crazy, and it'd be like, "Oh, okay, I see. That's the thing. Got it." As opposed to you just being, here's my crazy. Those are the things you should be talking about at the beginning of dating, because a lot of folks are getting, this is my crazy. And they're like, wait. And we can avoid all this. We can really avoid all this. Lay your crazy out in the same space and you'll be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
And those are my final words. Lay it out.
I don't have any final words. I think we just need to. No. My final word is this. I think that we should care about other people the same way we expect people to care about us.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you want somebody to put effort in for you, the least you can do is put effort in for them.
Facts. The least.
And I think just like you want them to find out what effort looks like for you and what care looks like for you, do the same. So at least if it doesn't work, I always say like this, like, if it doesn't work, I'm okay with it not working if I know I gave it all I had. I'm okay with that, because at the end of the day, I can walk away and I'm like, you know what? I'm empty. And I went back and tried to get full again and gave that too. I'm good. Like, I'm settled. I'm settled that it wasn't supposed to work, or it wasn't supposed to work in that season, whatever. But I tried and I'm good. And I'm at peace with that. Like, I think the only times I've ever not been at peace is when I can say, oh, shoot, I didn't. Man, I could have tried.
Yeah, I could have done something different. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was being too proud. I was being too arrogant on that one. I could have humbled myself. And that's with any type of relationship, friendships, anything. But
I like it. That's a good final word.
Yep, do that. Okay. Any other thoughts you got? Get you some rest.
On my way. It's been a long one. My eyes are little, as the babies say. They little.
Good show.
Can't even try to keep them open.
Yeah, it's a good show, good conversation. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Come on, y'all, listen. If y'all still ain't signed up, Satoria Conference, y'all register. I'm gonna post it on my page right after the show. Y'all register. If you come to San Antonio, October 16th through the 18th, I'm keynote speaker. Q and I are doing a panel. Y'all come out. Let's have a good time at this conference. Tickets only $50. Where they do that at? Y'all come to San Antonio. Y'all hang out with me and Q and Satoria and some other great speakers. So we'll see y'all next week. Another great show.
Night.
You just